Okay then, so we're going to do a short practice of sitting that'll and then we'll take it into standing. And the purpose of it is to just come here now and to get the basics of the longevity breathing and to just be able to leave what you were doing, forget what you're going to be doing later, and be present in your body, which is something you always need to be able to do if you're going to do Qigong. So, sat something like I am, feet parallel, not leaning back on the chair, not crouched forward. It's been called the emperor pose, so a nice kind of regal feel. And a bit like your crown of your head is actually being suspended from the ceiling and gently being pulled up while everything else is relaxing. And that will actually raise your vibration a little bit and straighten your spine. Then have awareness of your feet on the floor, the soles of your feet connecting to the floor, and have a feeling of being earthed and connected to the floor. If you notice that you've got a sense that you're earthed on one foot, but not so much on the other, then just ask it to pop across to the other, just ask it to even out, and you'll notice that it usually will. Okay. So then just with your intent, what you really want to do is just have a sense of everything you've been doing earlier in the day or yesterday or previously in your life. Just let that be where it is and just fall away and come to now, to the present moment. And the same with anything that you've got to do later or anything you're thinking about. Just leave it in the future. Leave the future in the future. Leave the past in the past. And have a tangible sense of coming to this moment now and in being aware of your midline, your central channel, your spine essentially. And again, just like a sense of releasing anyone else's energy back to them. Anyone's energy that you might be holding, emotions, thoughts of anything else, just let it go. And just have the general intent that you're letting everyone else's energy and stuff go back to them. And that you call in all your own energy back to you. And because Qigong's all about feeling, you want to then just wait until you feel like that's happened. And you might get a sense that something's still pulling on you. And, it might be a good reason. You might realize you've left the front door open or something like that. So then you go and close the front door, you come back, you try again, then it works. So if there's a very good reason that you need to, something's calling your mind, you attend to it. If not, you leave everything else where it is. And just taking that time to do that before you do anything, but particularly before you do Qigong, is going to go a hell of a long way to making it go smoother. And also just be aware of the barrier of your skin itself, which is the barrier of your physical body. And be aware of everything inside that. And again, that's good. It just comes to this point. And then we're just going to touch briefly on the breathing and Qigong basics. When we practice, we have our tongue on the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth, on the soft palate. And the reason for that is it connects us, well, it's a centering really, but it all connects us to the 12 major meridians in the body via the governing and conception vessel, which is basically the front and back of the spine. So by touching on the roof of the tongue, the roof of the mouth with the tongue, it's a gentle centering. So that's just approximately what you do the whole time you're actually doing Qigong. And then the basic breathing, I've taught whole courses on this, but it's essentially belly breathing. So what you want to do is place your hands on your belly, and you want to have a sense that when you breathe in, the belly gets a bit bigger. That's because the diaphragm's moving down. And so when it moves back up on the out breath, the belly will get a bit smaller. And just take 3 or 4 of those breaths with the hands on the belly. And then perhaps 3 or 4 of them without the hands on the belly. And just see if you can still feel that belly moving, because that is one of many things that you're going to want to be present to when you're doing Qigong. It's just gone nice and quiet here. So if you can feel your belly, you can feel your feet on the floor. Your spine is relatively straight and lifted, and you're not leaning forward, back, left or right. And you feel like you have left the rest of life where it is for now, then that's a good place to begin. And you can sit here for just as long as you want before you actually begin. When you do decide that you're going to do something, we're going to stand up. So it's quite good that you can actually stand up directly in front of your chair, and then you know where it is should you want to sit down again. So then for standing Qigong, everything that you just did applies really. So what I would recommend is that you take a moment to basically do everything that we already just did, but now you're standing. So you just make sure that in the act of standing up, your mind hasn't gone out to something in the future past or anything. And again, you're still aware of the breathing. And you've still got the tip of the tongue on the roof of the mouth. And when you feel that you're relatively settled, you're ready to start doing some Qigong. Now, basic principles are that the knees are very softly bent. The perineum, which is the space between the legs, is soft and open, as opposed to closed. The chest is soft. The belly's relaxed. There's some space in the armpits, and the arms are hanging by their own weight. That's really good. And we'll get to stirring qi later on, but it's a great time to just make circular motions with your arms, which is what stirring qi will look like, and just kind of enjoy it. And be aware that in the upper portion of your body, so that's your shoulders, chest and everything, that nothing particularly is frozen. So that means that everything, before we get into doing specific moves, you get very used to what it feels like when everything is just moving. Just like when you're in the sea, all of the water is moving. So if there's seaweed in the water, all of that's moving as well. So just get a feel for that. And then when you come back to standing straight, again, we don't freeze. You'll be aware of movement in the belly, movement in the chest area, the shoulders, just subtle movement, blood flow, the breathing process, and you're alive and you're present. Great. And from that, we're going to start moving through some of the preliminaries of Dragon and Tiger, the first movement, which is called Dragon and Tiger Meet. It's a challenge to coordination at first, but it's a really good Qigong exercise with lots going on in it. This one exercise alone is worth the time, really, and it's really one movement in which everything is moving, and it's excellent to just balance the energy of the whole body. And so we're going to start breaking that down into what it is